Hello friends, and welcome back to my crafty space. My name is Crystal, and in today's video I am going to be completing the last couple of spreads using the Progress Story Kit from Ali Edwards for Storykitcrush. So today I am telling two stories. One is called I Am Learning, or I Am Still Learning. I'm using this journaling card to talk about things that I am still learning along this creative journey that I am currently on, which is there's a lot to learn. So that is what this story is all about, and I'm pairing it with a photo of myself and my son. It's just one of my favorite photos that I've recently taken, and so I thought, why not put that one here? The other story that I'm telling is one for my niece's baby album. So this is actually going to go in her 1 month section. I am working backwards now, trying to fill in some of the earlier months that I didn't previously do stories for. So this is going to go in her 1 month section, and it's all about her learning how to breastfeed. So my sister-in-law typed up a story that's going to be included, and this is the long version of the story. I just wanted to make sure to add it in its entirety into the album so that she has it to reference in the future someday if she ever wants to go back and read her story again. And then I added some of the bits and pieces from the long journaling into the short journaling, which is what will be up front and center on this spread in particular. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and put you on fast forward while I get both of these spreads assembled, and then once we have them done, we will slow down, we will close out, and I will let you know what the story kit we are going to be crushing next month will be. So let's go ahead and get started. All right, friends, so we're going to get started on the spread here on the left-hand side, which is this I Am Still Learning spread. The first thing I'm going to do is take the journaling card here, which is a 6x4 journaling card, and I am going to trim it down into a 1-inch strip, which actually ends up being a little bit too big. So I'm going to bring that trimmer back over and trim it down to 1¼ inches by 6 inches. So this becomes my title piece at the bottom of the page. I love the way that this looks. I like that it's got the white on the bottom and then the gray and then the white of all my journaling up on the top. I think that looks super cool like that. Then for my actual journaling here, I did the same thing as what I did earlier in the month, where I created a 3/4 inch circle shape in Photoshop, and I added that. I knew I was going to use 8 of them, so I lined those up in a row on the left-hand side of my page and made sure that they were evenly spaced apart, and then printed it as a light gray colored shape on my journaling. And the reason I did that is because now I can take my circle stickers here and just stick the stickers right on top of that gray shape. So it makes this so much easier to know that, number one, things are evenly spaced apart, and then, you know, where they should all go. It just makes it super quick. So I definitely recommend doing that. And the next time that I make something like this, because this is something I do all the time with these bullet point type deals, I will take you guys through the computer process of that as well, just to show you how I got those shapes on there in the first place. I just didn't film it this time, so I don't have that. But next time, I promise I will show you how I do that. I also added the Trust the Journey chipboard sticker over to the picture of myself and my son, and then I date stamped right below I Am Still Learning, and then called that one done. Next, we're going to move on to the very last story that I am telling with the Progress Story Kit, and this one is to go inside of my niece's baby album. The story itself is about my sister-in-law and my niece's breastfeeding journey, which I think is something, if you are a mom and have been through that type of journey, I definitely think it's something worth documenting. So when I was talking to her about, you know, I want to do a story about Mabel, about something that she made progress on, you know, when she was younger, because I am trying to go back and work on some younger years. So I suggested things like, you know, learning to make noises or learning to move or those types of things, or learning to sleep. And then I also was like, alternatively, we could do something about, my sister-in-law, Caitlin, and something that she made progress on as a young mom. And that brought us to the idea of doing a breastfeeding story. So that's what this is. Now, she wrote out a very long form story, which I love that she does that, because that's so what I do too. Like I can't help myself. I just write all the words. And because she did that, I wanted to find a way to include them in this spread, even though my original idea or concept for what I wanted this to look like didn't include a long story. So what I decided to do was, instead of just having a 3x8 photo that went into a pocket, I decided to print the journaling at 6.875, so, almost 6.75 inches, or 6 3/4 by the 8 1/4 tall. So that is essentially an outside the page protector photo, or, piece, and then an additional 3 inches by 8 inches, or 3 by 8 1/4. So what I did is I took the journaling and I scored it at 3 inches. And so that folded over, it covers, so all the journaling is hidden underneath. I was able to add some washi tape to the inside in order to create a little bit of decoration there and make it look like that was purposeful, which it was, but I wanted it to look that way. And then I took the 3x8 photo that I printed, which I was silly. I should have printed it at 3 inches by 8 1/4, but I forgot. So I printed it at 3x8. I added that to the top, and then just stuck a little bit of washi at the top of the photo to help cover up where I misjudged how big that photo should have been. So, whoops. On the opposite side of this little page, I have a journaling card where I added some of the journaling from the story I did put into the trust the process, or learn to trust the process. So some of it is in there, and then some of it I also added to the shipping tags that you see up at the top. And then I grabbed out a couple of different pattern papers. Both of these came from the Hey Santa line from Crate Paper. So just because something is Christmas themed does not mean that you can't use it somewhere else. So these were perfect for this spread. I took the one that had like the pink hexagon type pattern to it, and that is what I cut into a 3x4 card, and what the shipping tags will go on top of. Once I figured out that I wanted to use the pink hexagon type pattern, the washi tape that I had previously chosen didn't really mesh very well. So I took that off and I replaced it with this florally washi that was from a really old Illustrated Faith kit that I got a long time ago. So I added that instead. Then I just needed to go ahead and hole punch everything. Hole punching washi is very tricky because it doesn't come out of this it doesn't pop out of the hole punch. So I just took my bone folder in order to get those pieces to stick to it and take them out. So the right hand of this spread is done. I did add the small progress is still progress chipboard piece to the photo of them, and then that is going to be how the right side will go. For the left side, I am trying to figure out how I want to add these shipping tags on top of this card so that they are still interactive, but they're also going to go inside of a pocket. So ultimately, what I'm going to figure out is that I need to grab my awl, so my poking tool, and I'm going to use that to poke some holes in one side of this page protector, which you're going to see here in a minute, because again, some things are just easier to see than they are to explain with words. So I am going to position the largest tag where I want it to go, and I'm going to grab my Slick Writer pen, which I love because it writes on slippery surfaces, so then I could write on top of the page protector and know exactly where to punch. I should have gone ahead and put down 2 dots so I knew where to punch both dots, but I didn't do that, so I will ultimately have to make 3 holes, which is just, a silly oversight, but once everything is where it goes, you can't even tell. I did originally try to use my crocodile, but a crocodile in a 3x4 pocket is just not going to happen. So that's where I grabbed out my awl instead. And I'm going to use that to poke holes where I want them to go. So I'll poke 2 here and then realize that one of them is too close to the other one. And then I will end up poking a 3rd hole to compensate for that. And then what I'm going to do is take some twine and thread the twine from the back side or the inside of the pocket through to the outside or the front of the pocket so that I can add these tags onto the outside of the page protector, which is, it works out actually really nicely to do it this way. So something, again, I would totally do this again. I just know now how to actually do this. Another thing you have to do when creating these holes with your awl is you actually have to wiggle it around to make the hole a little bit bigger, because the twine has a tough time going through the holes. So it did take me a little bit of finagling to get it threaded through both of the holes. So here we are finally threaded. So now I'm going to put the pieces together here, trim off the excess so it makes it a little easier to put through all of the holes. And then I'm going to thread both pieces of twine from the back side of the shipping tags through to the front side of the shipping tags. 2 of these tags have journaling on them, and one of them is just kind of decorative that just says like progress, and it's got like a progress bar on it, which I thought was really cute. I loved how all of these had those same pink tones, which works really well with this spread. And then once everything is threaded on there, I will go ahead and tie this into a bow. It will stay very securely on the outside of the page protector. And then I can go ahead and insert the pattern paper inside of the pocket so that you get a little bit of the background as well. So there we go. That's how this is going to come together. All right, friends, that finishes these last 2 spreads with the Progress Story Kit. Love the way that they both turned out, even though this one was a bit of a pain in the butt to get to work, but it does work where all those tags are on the outside and you can swivel them to read the journaling underneath. So that actually worked out really nicely once I figured out how to get that done. But yes, I super love the way that both of these stories turned out. One a little bit more simple than the other. And that is that. So I hope that you have enjoyed seeing these, all of these progress stories come together this month. If you have, give this video a thumbs up down below. And also don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you can see all of the content I have coming your way. So next month, in the month of April, I'm actually going to be changing things up a little bit with Storykitcrush. I'm really excited about this change, and I hope you guys will be too. So one of the things that I have noticed over the course of the last year is that in doing Storykitcrush, I am working my way through some of the older kits that I have in my collection. However, I am continuing to add the new kits that are coming out into my stash, and then I don't get to those for almost an entire year. So what I'm going to start doing for Storykitcrush is, instead of going back and going through older kits, I'm actually going to start crushing the new kits instead. Now, we will be a little bit delayed from when they're coming out, just because my kits ship out at the same time as all of yours, so it does take a little bit of time to get to me, and then for me to be able to sit down and get all of the videos filmed and all of that. So in the month of April, we are going to be crushing the Connect Story Kit. I will also mention that I am crushing these kits a month earlier than what you are seeing them in my Patreon group. So if you want to see a sneak peek or to see early access to some of the Storykitcrush videos that are coming out, then make sure to come check out my Patreon group, where I am crushing these a little bit early over there and then repurposing that content to come over here the following month. So anyway, April is going to be the Story Kit Connect, and I am just so excited to break into that kit and see if I can get stories told. I know I'll get a question about some of the older kits, and will I go back and do those as well. I'm thinking that I will eventually have those kits become part of my Thursday lives. So I do have a stash still of older kits to use up from last year, and I do want to get those used and not have them sit there and then eventually donate them or whatever. I do want to use them. So that will most likely become my plan. And then from here on out, we're just going to follow the schedule of Allie's releases. So we'll have Connect next, and then whatever kit comes after that, that will be our May Storykitcrush, and so on and so forth. I will probably put out some communication about that, whether it's on Instagram or in some other place, so you guys can find what kits are coming and what month I will be crushing those in, just so you are aware. And as always, if you do not have the kit that I am working with, you can use any kit from any company that you have or that you subscribe to, or the products that you're getting. It does not just have to be the kit that I'm working with. I love seeing the stories that you guys are posting. I love, that you guys are feeling inspired to use your product, and more importantly, to tell your stories and get those down in your books. So, regardless of what product you use, you are still participating in Storykitcrush. So don't feel like, you have to have this one or else you're left out. Nope, you use what you've got. All right, friends. So that is going to be it for me for today. I will be back again next week on Monday with a story project, Wednesday with a project life, and then Friday we'll be starting our new Connect Storykitcrush series. So hopefully I will see you guys back here then. Until then, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your weekend, and I will catch you all in the next video. Bye, friends.